If you've ever woken up in the morning and felt your knees, hips, or shoulders ache before you even take your first steps out of bed, you're not alone. Joint pain is one of the most common health challenges people face, especially as we get older. It can sneak into daily life in small ways, like stiffness when you get out of a chair, discomfort when climbing stairs, or even a dull ache after standing for too long. Over time, these little annoyances can grow into bigger frustrations, holding you back from enjoying the simple things that once brought joy. Why does this matter so much? Because mobility, the ability to move freely without pain, is directly connected to independence, happiness, and quality of life. When your joints hurt, everything feels harder. Walking, exercising, cooking, even playing with your grandchildren can become exhausting. Many people begin to avoid movement altogether because they're afraid of making their pain worse. But here's the catch. Avoiding movement can actually make joint pain worse, not better. Let's break this down with a little science. Joints are where two bones meet, cushioned by cartilage, supported by ligaments, and powered by muscles. When we move, a special fluid called synovial fluid circulates inside the joint, lubricating it like oil in an engine. If the joint isn't used enough, that fluid becomes sluggish. The muscles around the joint weaken, and stiffness builds up. That's why people often feel worse after sitting for long periods or skipping regular movement. On the flip side, gentle movement stimulates the joint, strengthens the muscles around it, and encourages circulation that keeps the tissues healthy. Think of your joints like a door hinge. If you never open or close that door, the hinge begins to rust, making it squeak and resist movement. But if you regularly oil and use the hinge, it stays smooth and functional. Your joints work in much the same way. Now you may be wondering, if joint pain is so common, what can be done about it? Doctors often recommend pain medications, anti-inflammatory drugs, or even injections. These can provide relief, but they don't always address the root of the problem. Surgery may help in severe cases, but it's not the first step most people want to take. The good news is that for many people, there are simple moves you can do at home that make a huge difference. And here's where the story gets exciting. Research shows that a single gentle move done consistently can ease stiffness, reduce discomfort, and improve flexibility almost immediately. This isn't about pushing yourself through painful exercises or lifting heavy weights. Instead, it's about giving your joints the movement they need, safe, targeted, and effective. Let me share a relatable example. Imagine someone named Linda, age 68. She used to love gardening, but knee pain made it nearly impossible for her to kneel down or stand for long periods. Every morning, she dreaded walking down the stairs because her knees felt like rusty hinges. Instead of giving up, Linda started doing one simple daily move recommended by her physical therapist. At first, she wasn't sure it would help, but within weeks, she noticed something incredible. Her knees felt looser, the pain wasn't as sharp, and she could walk in her garden again without wincing. Stories like Linda's aren't rare. They remind us that small actions add up. The body has an amazing ability to adapt and heal when we give it the right support. That's why we're going to dive into a set of 3 gentle moves that can make a world of difference for joint pain. Each one is simple enough for anyone to do at home, requires no equipment, and can fit into your daily routine in just a few minutes. We'll start with the first key move, a motion so basic yet powerful that it can help lubricate stiff joints, ease discomfort, and give you immediate relief. Then we'll move on to 2 more supportive exercises that build on this foundation, making your joints stronger, your movement smoother, and your confidence higher. Now that we understand why movement is so important for our joints, let's talk about the first gentle move that can bring almost instant relief. It's simple, safe, and doesn't require any equipment. You can do it right in your living room or even while sitting at the edge of your bed. This move is called the seated knee extension. At first glance, it might seem too easy to make a difference, but don't let its simplicity fool you. This motion directly targets 2 of the most commonly affected joints in the body, the knees and hips. while also activating the supporting muscles that keep these joints stable. Here's how it works. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the ground. Slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until it's parallel to the floor, hold for a few seconds, then gently lower it back down. Alternate legs and repeat. You don't need to kick or push hard. The key is smooth, controlled movement. Aim for 8-10 repetitions per leg, and if you can, do 2 to 3 rounds. Why does this move help? When you extend your leg, you're not only moving the knee joint, but also encouraging blood flow and synovial fluid circulation inside it. That's like oil spreading across the hinge, reducing stiffness. The muscles at the front of your thigh, the quadriceps, are also activated, and these muscles act like shock absorbers for the knee. Strong quads mean less pressure on the joint itself. At the same time, holding your leg up briefly challenges your hip flexors, which are essential for walking and balance. Think of it as a mini workout for your joints that requires almost no effort. And the best part? It can be done by virtually anyone, regardless of fitness level. If you've been avoiding exercise because of pain, this is a safe way to start reintroducing movement into your day. Let's take an example. Picture Robert, a 72-year-old grandfather who struggled with knee pain for years. Walking around the block left him sore, and even sitting too long made his knees stiffen up. His doctor recommended physical therapy, and one of the first moves he was given was the seated knee extension. At first, Robert thought it was silly, just lifting his legs in a chair. But after a couple of weeks, he noticed something remarkable. His knees didn't creak as much in the mornings, and he felt steadier when standing up. What seemed too simple at first became his daily routine, and it gave him back the confidence to stay active with his grandchildren. There's also a psychological benefit here. When people start with a move like this and feel genuine relief, they begin to believe that progress is possible. That shift in mindset is powerful. Instead of feeling like a victim to pain, you start to feel like you have control. Every time you lift your leg and set it back down, you're not just exercising your muscles. You're exercising hope and resilience. And remember, consistency is the secret ingredient. Doing this once may loosen your knees a little, but making it part of your daily routine is what creates lasting change. You don't have to spend hours on it. Just a few minutes a day, maybe while watching TV or listening to music, can transform how your joints feel. The beauty of the seated knee extension is that it opens the door to more movement. Once your knees feel less stiff, you'll be more willing to try walking, stretching, or even light strength training. It's like the first domino that sets off a chain reaction of positive changes. So if you've been feeling hesitant about exercise, start here. Find a sturdy chair, sit tall, and gently lift one leg at a time. Breathe steadily, move with control, and remind yourself that every repetition is a small investment in your mobility and freedom. This one simple move can be the foundation for your journey toward pain-free living. And once you begin to feel the difference, you'll be ready to add in the next key move, one that helps not only your knees and hips, but also your spine and overall posture. The second exercise is called the standing hip shift stretch, and it's designed to gently mobilize the lower body while easing pressure on the joints that often carry the heaviest load. Here's how it's done. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, and hands resting on your hips or a nearby chair for support if needed. Slowly shift your weight onto your right leg, allowing your left hip to glide outward just slightly. Hold that gentle stretch for a few seconds, then shift back to center and move your weight onto the other side. The motion should feel smooth, controlled, and almost like you're swaying side to side in slow motion. At first, this might seem like such a tiny move that it couldn't possibly matter. But in reality, this motion unlocks stiffness in some of the body's most important joints: the hips, pelvis, and lumbar spine. When these areas are tight, they create a ripple effect of discomfort that can travel into the knees, back, and even shoulders. By gently shifting your weight, you're reawakening those deep, stabilizing muscles that keep your joints aligned and your movements fluid. Why is this so important? Think about all the times you've bent down to pick something up, reached for an item on a shelf, or simply stood up from a chair. Your hips and spine are central to those motions. If they're stiff, every action feels harder, and your body tries to compensate in unhealthy ways, putting stress on weaker joints. But when your hips move freely, your posture improves, your core muscles engage, and your body functions as one strong, connected system. Imagine Mary, a retired teacher who began to notice that long car rides left her lower back aching and her knees sore. She assumed it was just part of aging until a friend introduced her to the hip shift stretch. At first, she practiced it for only a minute or two a day, shifting gently from side to side while holding onto her kitchen counter. Within a few weeks, something surprising happened. Her back didn't hurt as much when she stood up from the car, and her knees no longer felt like they were grinding with every step. She even joked that she felt looser, like a door hinge that had finally been oiled. That's the power of a simple move. The hip shift stretch is easy, but it restores movement where it matters most. And the beauty of this exercise is that it connects the upper and lower body, encouraging balance and coordination. For older adults, this is especially valuable. Falls are a major concern as we age, and having strong, flexible hips can make the difference between catching yourself and losing balance. Another benefit is circulation. When you gently sway from side to side, blood flow increases to the hip and pelvic area, which helps bring nutrients and oxygen to the tissues. This can speed up healing, reduce inflammation, and keep those joints nourished. It also encourages your muscles to engage in a natural rhythm, which builds endurance without strain. The best part? You can sneak this exercise into your daily routine almost anywhere. Waiting for the kettle to boil, brushing your teeth, or standing in line, these are perfect times to do a few slow hip shifts. No one will even notice, and your joints will thank you. But beyond the physical benefits, there's an emotional layer to this move. Movement has a calming effect on the mind, especially rhythmic movement, like gentle swaying. It taps into the body's natural relaxation response, easing stress and promoting a sense of ease. For many people, joint pain isn't just physical. It's tied to frustration, anxiety, and even sadness over lost mobility. But a simple, soothing motion, like the hip shift, can remind you that healing is possible, one small step at a time. So here's the takeaway. The standing hip shift stretch is more than just an exercise. It's a reminder to stay connected to your body, to nourish your joints with gentle movement, and to trust that improvement is always within reach. Combined with the seated knee extension, you now have two powerful tools to ease pain, strengthen your body, and restore freedom in your daily life. The final move is called the gentle ankle flex and point. While it may sound like it only targets the feet, this exercise has benefits that ripple upward through your entire body. The ankles are the foundation of your movement. When they're stiff or weak, the knees and hips are forced to take on extra strain, leading to pain and instability. By keeping your ankles mobile and strong, you protect the entire chain of joints above them. Here's how to do it. Sit comfortably in a chair with both feet flat on the ground. Lift one foot slightly off the floor and slowly point your toes forward as if you're pressing down on a gas pedal. Hold for a moment, then flex your toes back toward your shin. Repeat this slow, controlled movement 8 to 10 times, then switch to the other foot. To deepen the benefit, you can also trace small circles in the air with your toes, first clockwise, then counterclockwise. What makes this move special is that it combines strength, flexibility, and circulation in one. Each time you point and flex, you're activating the calf muscles and gently stretching the Achilles tendon. This not only supports the ankle, but also improves blood flow in the lower legs, reducing swelling and stiffness. For people who spend long hours sitting, this exercise can be a lifesaver, preventing blood from pooling in the legs and encouraging better overall circulation. Consider the story of David, a 66-year-old retiree who loved to take morning walks but often found that his ankles felt stiff and wobbly, especially after sitting at his desk writing emails. His physical therapist suggested the ankle flex and point as a quick reset throughout the day. At first, David added it in only once or twice daily, but soon he began doing it every hour while working. Within a month, he noticed a difference. His ankles felt stronger, his knees didn't ache as much, and he walked with more confidence. He even joked that he felt more spring in his step than he had in years. This gentle exercise may seem almost too easy, but its effects are profound. By targeting the smallest joints in your lower body, you're building a stronger base of support for everything else. Imagine building a house. If the foundation is weak, the whole structure suffers. But if the foundation is solid, everything above it thrives. The same is true for your ankles and the rest of your body. And beyond the physical improvement, this move also carries an empowering message. Small actions matter. Even the tiniest movement done consistently can create big change. For seniors especially, that truth is powerful. You don't need to run marathons or lift heavy weights to protect your joints. You just need to give them the gentle care and attention they crave. When you put these three moves together, the seated knee extension, the standing hip shift stretch, and the gentle ankle flex and point, you have a simple but complete routine that takes less than 10 minutes a day. Yet the impact can be life-changing. Less stiffness in the morning, easier walks around the neighborhood, more confidence climbing stairs. And perhaps most importantly, the freedom to enjoy the activities that make life meaningful. Gardening, playing with grandchildren, cooking meals with loved ones, or simply walking outside to feel the sun on your face. So as we close, let's step back and see the bigger picture. Joint pain can make you feel trapped, limited, and even hopeless at times. But it doesn't have to define your life. With small, steady actions, you can take control again. Each move is a reminder that your body is resilient, that healing is possible, and that independence is within your reach. Remember, the journey to better joint health isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up every day, even in small ways. A few minutes of gentle movement today becomes more flexibility tomorrow. 1 week of practice becomes strength in the months ahead. And with consistency, you'll discover that your joints can feel younger, freer, and more reliable than you imagined. So, take a moment now. Sit tall, lift one leg, and begin with the first move. Sway gently with the second. Point and flex with the third. Feel the difference, however small, and celebrate it. Because every time you choose movement, you're choosing hope, strength, and independence. Your joints deserve that care, and so do you.